seems like it's been, though. We've had nades into dead spots where they can't see. And the only reason you would throw a nade there is if the communication was there. And we've seen that from both sides. So the level of play has been pretty good so far.
Yeah, I think we're in for one of the actually best games thus far. Even though it's train and the scoreline will look a bit different, it might not look as close. I think that the start of this game has been by far the most interesting today.
If you factor in the CT bias, I think this is going to be one of the closer games that we're going to see. I mean, the two teams are fairly evenly matched. Obviously, as more time passes, you would think that Na'Vi will pick up the game.
Should do.
I mean, they've got all the fundamentals in place.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're going to have to learn how to play Counter-Strike. It's just that they're going to need to get the, like literally as I said, the recall patterns. Now, we had a pause and an unpause. Looks like we are getting a restart. Just waiting for the rounds to tick over to the correct round count, and that means we will be live. So. Again, we've alluded to this before, but it is an esport function of CSGO where you can resume from where the game left off, and I am a big fan of that.
Oh, that is so great. And it's happening all around in all the games as well. I don't know if it's going on in League of Legends or anything, but you have it in StarCraft 2.
They are specifically tailoring it, what you're seeing now is, and was it Activision? I think the head of Activision was actually talking about this the other day. He was saying that basically esports is going to become a much bigger sort of factor in actual just casual gaming. What you're going to see is you're going to see public players are going to start to move over into, much like in Go and LoL, where you have two separate forms of play for multiplayer.
Yeah.
You have ranked, basically, and you have unranked.
Yeah.
As that becomes more the standard norm, you're going to see players start to move up into these professional teams who really wouldn't have known anything about the professional scene until they get to the upper tiers of those public ranked games.
Yeah.
So it's basically... It's a good way of drawing new talent to the scene.
But anyway, take it away, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say, it does look like we're live here. So tied up at 3 apiece, obviously, with Na'Vi taking the last round, which was their light buy. So they should be fully bought up here. Much can be said, the same can be said for Faculty because they obviously on the T side. So that buy does come in a little bit cheaper for them. Now we are seeing the pop dog dive here from Kirby and Mantis. This is going to set up for, it looks like a two-sided split. In fact, it looks like they could very well be going T-sided mid as well. 3 men down into pop dog now. Do we have one AFK? I hope not. No, it looks like he's just literally just sat there waiting. Whoa!
Oh, he's playing out smart. He's playing it out smart as well. Looking for if there's any more players coming in.
But I'm seeing pause on the stream here. That's probably why we're not shooting at each other. Yeah. Apparently, Faculty now want to stop. Oh, this is a nightmare.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, there's a stop. Fun and games. Looks like we're going to be on another restart here. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. It'd be nice to find out over chat, obviously. It looks like it is an issue with Disruptors. He's just disconnected. So, best of bad situation, I suppose. Let's discuss what we saw in the, what was the 7th round, though.
ESC half-time, 13-2 to ESC against CRG Gaming.
Ah, okay. So ESC in the position that most people would expect, 13-2 over CRG at the moment. That really Group C is the group to watch, my money.
So I feel so bad for CRG.
Yeah, so look at the draw, I suppose, but I think if they fell in a barrel of tits, they would come out sucking the thumb. That's the kind of luck that they have, basically. So unfortunate, and really for what is, I mean, the UK CSS scene was always pretty strong. 1-6, definitely not.
Yeah,
even 4 Kings at the peak weren't. They weren't world beaters. Yeah,
no.
I mean, you could place them top 8 at a CPL event. But never really, top 5. You could never place.
They were stable. Even they did well.
Yeah,
they were never Na'Vi. They were never Fnatic.
Exactly.
Not SK.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas with CSS, the UK scene always had a good, solid scene. You always had those sort of 15 players, very incestuous scene, much like the French scene.
Yeah.
I suppose much like all scenes, they all ball around regions basically.
Except for Norway, we didn't never have any good teams.
Well, you say that, but I mean, the Norwegians tended to jump between, basically, I viewed Scandinavia as one sort of region.
Okay, that's fine.
Because you're all on super low ping anyway. It's never really an issue, is it, to jump onto, say, a Swedish server and play for you guys?
No, obviously.
So you did have that as a sort of, I wouldn't say advantage, because you are a smaller populace, so you got less talent to draw from. But you guys did all sort of club together, whereas the French, English, and German scenes, they've been very insular. But the UK scene in CSS was very strong. I mean, you only have to look at Dignitas stroke Salvo back in the day.
Wow.
Power when they were kicking on all cylinders, they were also solid team.
Well, Power had some help from Stinger, and
this is true. But I still consider them a UK based team, even considering that Stinger was probably, for my money, the standout player in that team.
Yeah, he kind of was. Yeah,
but I think one of the reasons that he was able to stand out is that he had 4 solid players behind him.
As per always, you need, and that's the problem with imaginary gaming as well. they have Shoxi.
Yeah,
but he
nobody
doesn't
can back him
have
up.
the backup that he needs around him.
I mean, it's not, you know, at the end of the day, he can't do it all on his own. So, you know, at the end of this event, I wouldn't be surprised to perhaps see Shoxi maybe look towards moving back towards very games, putting some feelers out.
Yeah, if he was able to. Like,
yeah, but like you said, I mean, very games are not going to be keen on making changes again.
No,
So
I don't think so. Well, like it will be tempting, but I don't think the organization will allow it. To be honest, they've always been a stable and good team and respectful team, and starting to go all UK. Sorry. And changing
there's a very valid comment.
Yeah.
I mean, the UK roster shuffles are well known,
Yeah.
And that's part and parcel of the reason why we don't see the dearth of talent that is out there in teams at this tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, the UK scene is starting to pull itself together a little bit.
It is. It is.
And we will see UK representation at tournaments in the near future. But to be honest, I mean, are they so far behind in preparation now that they're going to struggle to get to that level of play? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree. But at the same time, I just 100% agree with you. The UK scene, when it gets back on track, they have so many strong players with so much experience, and I think a lot of 1.6 players will be surprised at the actual skill level of the source players from UK.
Well, they're obviously coming from 1.6, they're not going to know. Well, they're going to know slim to nil about the UK scene.
Yeah, well,
obviously they're going to pick up on Salvo because but they're not going to know about, you know, the sort of, I wouldn't say mid-tier UK teams, but lower upper tier, let's say that should come along, and they're going to be capable of pulling off some upsets.
Yeah, players like Husey, for instance.
Yeah, Husey is a prime example.
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of Husey's playstyle.
Yeah.
Never hyper-aggressive, never passive, always plays just the right amount of aggression.
Entertaining player.
And, yep, not boring to watch by any stretch of imagination. Like I think of the, you know, the door boost on Inferno.
Yeah,
where he picked up the, was it a 5-man off that?
I think it was a 4-man, but
it was something that was
insane.
very respectable for the position that he had, because usually that's good for like 1 or 2 kills on the exit of the door, and then whoever's coming around, you know, quad side usually picks you off. But Hughes' playstyle, and he's just all-around play. I mean, he's not outstanding in any one aspect of the game. Like, he's not the best aimer, he's not got the best brain, he doesn't have the best temperament, like he can fall to pieces sometimes. But when you couple the fact that he's above average in every possible aspect of the game, it makes him a very versatile utility player. So, I mean, there are players like that out there that aren't getting much dap at the moment, and that will change. Yeah. It's just whether I do honestly believe now that the UK scene are going to be so handicapped by not being in from the get-go, it's going to take at least a year for them to get anywhere near the standard of play that we're seeing now from the sort of, you know, 2nd, 3rd and 4th place finishes.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Really?
Well,
you don't think it's going to
in general, I think you're right, but players like the teams that Rattlesnake put together, I think actually the team he puts together, and I think they will be pretty much top 5 at the first event they go to.
There's always a big question with Sam, though, and that's how much preparation has he actually put in?
Well, I think he's very good at making his team prepare when it's a new team.
Oh no, definitely he does. He does
when
crack
they're
the whip.
at top,
but yeah,
they
grow complacent.
They don't practice at all. No.
I mean, and it's been seen as well since, you know, we left Salvo that he's you know, jumped into rosters here and there. And really, we'd not seen the sort of, I wouldn't say level of commitment, because obviously he's still as passionate about the game. Yeah. But it just seemed like he didn't have the time to put into, basically that's what it boils down to, because without that CGS backing, it's very hard to put in, you know, those 6-7 hours a day practice that it requires to be that good with the AWP. So I wouldn't be surprised to perhaps, you know, have a period of adjustment. Maybe a year is a bit of an overestimation. It depends how many tournaments we get, I suppose. Yeah. Obviously, with more LAN play comes more experience in Go, and as you get more experience, the results should improve. But everyone's on the same curve, basically. New game, everyone's picking up new little, tricks and so on and so forth. New flashbangs, new smoke bounces, all that kind of good stuff. So I suppose, a year is probably a bit incredulistic, but I could see it taking them up to 6 months to get to the standard where they should be at from, you know, the get-go. If the UK scene would have pulled its socks up and actually fielded, not taken away from CRG, but then by no stretch of the imagination the best representation of the UK talent.
They are not the cream of the crop at all. No.
Nice guys, don't get me wrong.
Nice guys and good guys. Like, I mean, in game as well.
And they represent the UK well as well. I mean, it's not like they're a terrible team or anything. We have better talent out there.
But it's just facts. Yeah. Like, I was never the good player. I'm not going to cry about that. So it's just, you just have to handle the facts. Yeah. But I totally forgot what I was about to touch down on.
Oh, that couldn't have been important. Anyway, just to update you, we've got the all 10 players in server. Still no word as to why we've got the pause in. I believe it was, in fact, it was over a disrupted disconnection that seemed to cause the pause. But he's now back in server, so I'm not quite sure what the deal is here. Hopefully we'll get some word back from the admins. Obviously, with us being on a remote site, we don't have the level of communication that we would do where I would just get up from my desk and go and slap an admin until he gave me the answer, basically. Can't be done from here, so we are at the mercy. Now, it does seem like we've got Disruptor again leaving the game, so it does seem like the issue is with Disruptor's setup at the moment. It's obviously not a server issue because we still have the server up and we still have the TV up, so we should be fine on that front, but really, I mean, for a game that showed so much promise, this is kind of descending into a little bit of a farce at the moment, which is a shame because the momentum shifts are something that you don't normally see on Train. We've seen a lot of that so far. No really outstanding plays from any one individual, but lots of good team play. And for it to be marred by what is ostensibly, issues that are out of everybody's control, really, you can't really blame the admins for it. If it is hardware issues or issues with a player setup, it's unfair to expect that player to then play on, and suffer through the issues because that then diminishes not only his chances but his 4 friends.
Yeah. It's they need to pause it, and I totally agree with it. It's just obviously when you're on the sidelines, it's going to be negative. I fully understand the frustration of every single viewer at home, but I can tell you that. It will not help at all to complain about the delays. No. I'm not trying to make people stop spamming or anything. I'm just saying that we are doing everything we can. We got people here directly in touch with the people at the event as well. We're doing everything we can to get this sorted out, and the second we hear anything, we will of course inform you.
Yeah, we will relay it on to you as soon as we hear it. We've got a solid production crew at FACEIT, so anything that they pick up on, that they let me know by talkback. So as soon as I know, you will know. In the meantime, obviously, we're still sort of flogging a dead horse here, basically talking about what we've already seen. Let's talk some more about what we've already seen today. Obviously, the Group A and Group B. A couple of surprises in there. I mean, Very Games falling off is obviously, most people would expect them to perform better. NIP looking a little bit shaky at certain points against IMG.
Yeah.
I think this could very well be an interesting tournament. It seems like NIP at this point, obviously, they've still got to be considered the favourites. But I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe an interesting second place finish from somebody like, say, TCM.
Interesting fact, I just checked the statistics of Group A. NIP obviously won all of their games, but they only lost 13 rounds.
As opposed to everyone else losing 41.
Yeah, everyone else actually lost 41. Yeah. So that's quite interesting. That's quite a strong statistic. So I would have to say that they didn't really show a lot of weakness in the group stages. They are just continuing their incredible form, and I just hope for the sake of competitiveness and for the viewer experience that we will see a very close final or semi-finals. That would also be good, but NIP needs to be stopped. I love every single player in that team. They are such good players and such a good gang of personalities, but they need to be stopped now. It's not even.
You could argue for you could argue for the good of CS:GO. It would be nice to have another tournament winner, but
you're breaking CS:GO. No.
I honestly think that maybe perhaps the more interesting fight here is for second place.
Yeah.
Because with Very Games looking, as shaky as they are, we've obviously having the communication issues and all the issues that we've documented so far. I think there's a chance we could see somebody like TCM step into the forefront and start to pick up their game. Because it's like blood in the water, basically. If TCM have that shark mentality and they get to play Very Games in the finals, they're not in the semi-final, I should say, they're not going to let up on them at all. They're not going to be intimidated by VG one bit.
Right, I'm going to give you the chance to predict. I'll give you the chance to predict the 2 teams for the second place. Which ones will you go for? Who's going to be?
Ooh, that's a good question. Off the back of that TCM performance, I was slightly impressed with TCM, but I think I'm still going to go Very Games. I think they're going to find that consistency they've been lacking.
Really?
Yeah, I do believe that.
Right.
I think they're going to have a serious discussion. I think they'll just about scrape through group stages, probably on the extended groups. When they do that, I think come tomorrow, they'll reassess what's gone wrong and start to put it right. Because there's one thing with Very Games: they're not a team that is known for repeating the same mistakes. I mean, what is it? The very definition of insanity is you know, doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Yeah.
They're not a team that you could label with that sort of moniker. So I would be very surprised to see them, you know, come out and play the same way that they have done tomorrow. That's if they make it to tomorrow though, because there's a chance that they could drop.
Yeah, it is.
But I do perceive them actually finishing second. But you know, stranger things have happened.
Are you so confident that they will finish second that you're not going to guess for another?
Oh no, I'm definitely not that confident. I mean,
Okay.
when it boils down to it, I would like to see S do a little bit better than they have done, because you know, thinking way back to sort of the old PGS days and such.
Yeah.
They were one of my. I know as a commentator, you're not supposed to fanboy.
No,
But
you kind of
inevitable.
Yeah.
You know, you start watching teams more and more. You start picking up on little things that they do that nobody else does. You know, Cuban and the guys over there, they've always been solid. They've always been entertaining to watch. So all I can think about when I think of ESC is that WCG event where the scout was bought on an eco round.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a full eco round, and there was one scout in playing it, won them the round, and got them back into the game.
Really?
On
I
this
did
very
not
map.
see that game.
It was honestly, I think that's one of my favourite moments in any competitive game. And I'm one of the guys, like, people on stream will know me from CS, obviously, and more CSS. But like way back in the day, I used to do like BF42. When I used to do TV stuff in the UK, it was always like Call of Duty on console and stuff. So I do have quite like a varied background. Out of all the games that I've seen, thousands of hours worth of esports, that is probably my favourite moment.
All right.
So I do always have a soft spot for the guys from ESC. So it'll be interesting to see, I suppose, who does pick up that second place. There's like 4 or 5 teams that could conceivably do it, though.
Oh yeah, without any doubt.
Yeah. I mean, who would you say would be your 2 most liable picks?
I'll do the most obvious first. I will also say ESC, because they kind of got an early start to it as well. Like from 1.6 perspective, they start out early. They have the passion for it. I think they practice a lot. That's probably the most safe bet. But I just see Team Alternate Attacks doing really well. I seriously enjoy